This creation of man, this structure of man is made on an amazing design with amazing strength, with unique characteristics. And these functions are various, they are kathir in number, they are delicate and vast, and many occurring at the same time in the body at every moment. Externally, let's look at our feet. Even our feet carry so much weight, and look at the proportion of the head to the body and reflect on all the happenings going on inside this machinery of the body. Every function of insan, of mankind, is amazing, astonishing to the intellect, to the aql. But due to seeing it so often, this takrar and familiarity causes us to take it for granted, such that we do not appreciate it or reflect on it in amazement, and hence we forget our blessings, our creator, and these miracles until we age, or we fall sick, or a body part doesn't function as it used to. And so man's creation doesn't fascinate us, but actually we really need to stay fascinated. We need to discover ourselves, of how we are comprised of cells, and that a group of them become tissues, and a group of tissues becomes an organ, and man is a collection of so many organs, so well organized, and they work together, both well organized internally and externally. Our tarkeeb, our order and functionality, is an amazement and so very complex and unique, yet man is negligent of his own worth and value, and also unaware of his power of thinking and his true inner potential. And yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Alim, Al-Khabir, knows each and every little process in each and every individual and each and every whisper of his nafs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Qaf, and indeed we have created man, and we know what his own self whispers to him, and we are nearer to him than his jugular vein by our knowledge. And so man must value what is inside of him and understand that he is a perfect creation of Allah, unique, individual, with a great potential and a defined purpose. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Dhariyat, and also in your own selves will you not then see? And mankind, insan, not knowing his worth is his biggest tragedy, as he then suffers from having low levels of iman, as he doesn't recognize his Rabb and doesn't understand his hidden inner potential. He doesn't understand that he has a miraculous, amazing physical composition in the structure of his body and its many functionalities, and that he has a miraculous, amazing composition of the nafs and its spirituality and its connection with its Rabb. If only he exercised it and nourished it. Have you ever thought how your nafs leads you to some form of a thought process and various different emotions, and how then it affects our body and our mood? We have so much amazing complexity inside of us. In fact, sometimes such inner potential surface from within ourselves that we don't even know existed. So realize and reflect at your amazing construction and feed it and nourish it with good things and awaken your inner heart. It is when the blind heart becomes enlightened by observing and reflecting on the signs of Allah's creations and His reminders that it actually feels light and good. Your heart does, despite whatever else is going on in a person's life. And this becomes his coping mechanism. And he remains refreshed as he comes out of his ignorance. And this takes him to ilm, knowledge and light and vision, and hence to an elevated status amongst the rest of the makhluqat, the rest of the creations. But if there is a lack of ilm, of knowledge, due to the blindness of the heart and inability to see one's heedlessness, or the inability to take in nasiha, advice, or the inability to observe the signs around oneself, then such a person doesn't do good deeds, worthy deeds, righteous amal, and thus is not elevated in the eyes of Allah and not in the eyes of the makhluqat, the creation, either in its true valuable sense. So ask yourself, where are we trying to gain our respect from? In doing what? In indulging in what? In hanging out with who? Does man not see his real worth himself, which he could enhance and personify if he looked within and valued himself, and hence valued the instruction and care package sent by his Creator, who created him in the first place? In fact, many have the eyes that see the signs as they travel around the universe and look around themselves, and their hearts are amazed, but still they don't reach Allah and remain only fascinated with the creation and not the Creator. But the journey of such hearts has actually come to a standstill. And when it comes to this standstill, it becomes stagnant. And anything stagnant starts to go bad, as it needs continuous flow and fresh iman running through it. However, if one contemplates and reflects, does tadabbur and tafakkur, then his heart's and his aql's journey, his intelligence, will bring him to the ultimate realization, and that is the realization of Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, and hence will increase the quality and the desire and the speed to do ibadat, to worship more. And hence the most intelligent person uses his time, his aql, his ability to think and ponder on these signs and on working on his connection with Allah, with connecting his heart firmly with Allah. And he loves and respects Allah and realizes that his own entire chemical and physical composition and spiritual composition and his ni'mats, his blessings, are all to be utilized in increasing his ibadat, his worship for Allah. And we know that the mind doesn't really rest anyways. It just doesn't. It's always busy in something, in thinking about something. And so why not busy it in these good things more and not exhaust this faculty in negative thinking and plotting and scheming? And when does one do all of this? Plotting or scheming within families or colleges or colleagues or relationships or institutes or workplaces, when they don't recognize their true worth. And they don't realize that all this toil, this gabad, this effort all ends in the nar, in the blazing fire. This whole thought process that you plotted and exhausted yourself for was all going to the nar, all to the fire, all wasted efforts. Amilatun nasiba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ghashiyah, هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين عانية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع. Has there come to you the description of the overwhelming event? Many faces that day will be humbled, laboring, exhausted. عاملة ناصبة. They will enter into the scorching fire. They will be made to drink water from a boiling spring. There will be no food for them except from a thorny plant that will neither nourish nor satisfy hunger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they will have tired faces that day. Why? Because of their useless efforts and activities. So man's physical structure and the structure of his nafs is amazing. And when man stops, pauses and thinks about the miracles of himself, he will unravel secrets that will astonish him, like the creation of his organs, its distribution in the body, the different forms and functions, and how element is a miracle in itself.